Cory Booker of New Jersey, himself also a former presidential candidate. He said, quote, "I'm proud to call Kamala Harris my dear friend and sister, and next year I'll be even more proud to call her our vice president. This is history. Kamala is a trailblazer who will serve this country well as the first black and Asian American woman on a major party's ticket." Senator Cory Booker joins us now. Senator Booker, thanks for being with us. You and Senator Harris have a long friendship. You competed against each other during the race. When you reflect on this moment, both from a political standpoint, but also just as an American, what does it mean for the race in the country?
Well, I mean, I'm so happy. It's been hard to control myself for feeling joy. I mean, you have to understand, I've known Kamala, so I know her as a friend and a sister. And even when we were campaigning against each other, I'd always remind the press. I said, there may be some sibling rivalry, but don't ever lose the understanding that we're still family. And so don't mess with her. And so the woman that I know, let's set aside everything about the historic nature, gender, race, and more. I'm just telling you, I've worked with her in behind closed doors when the work is getting done, and seeing how competent and qualified, how focused on the detail, how great of a negotiator she is. And then I've seen her in the larger context where America has seen her, someone who is so profoundly charismatic, so ability to connect with people, whether it's a small town hall or a large audience of thousands. She is a gifted leader. But now when you add that to the fact that my phone is blowing up by people that are not political, by folks who it's like that old movie, Waiting to Exhale, who are just like, I am seen, I am valued. This country is including me in a way that we've just seen doors close by a woman, a black woman, a Howard graduate, an AKA, who every step of her career, climbing to the highest heights of a political ticket, she's had to blaze her own trail. There's been no body before that served in a lot of her positions that was an African-American woman. So she's just someone that I'm excited about, the people in my life who are going to look at her and get so inspired by this being a nation where anything is possible. And add that to the fact that she's just going to be the greatest wing woman you can ever imagine to Joe Biden. This is an exciting day. It's a historic day, and a day as a personal pride for me of someone that I've known special since I was recruiting her to run for Senate in the first place.
She's obviously had some tough races, going back, and experience campaigning for a number of positions in San Francisco and California, obviously for president and for senator as well. How much does that experience help her in this? I mean, running for president obviously is unlike anything else, but having run on the national stage and run at the state level and at the city level.
Yeah, well, look, and you know this, Anderson, when you've had to actually scrape your way up, starting in a municipal level, fighting for a statewide level, you've seen every kind of crowd, every kind of challenge, all kind of curveballs, and she has dealt with them extraordinarily well. She's an experienced, seasoned campaigner, just coming off a presidential campaign trail as well. She is ready for the job of being his running mate. And then you add that to the fact that she is someone who is representing the most populous state in America, that she has foreign policy and national security experience hewn in the Senate, that she has managerial experience from her statewide office in California, and then even with the work she's doing now. So this is just somebody that is, as Joe Biden said he wanted, somebody qualified to be president on day one, should disastrously that need happen to happen. So I just think that as America gets to know her now, and the many layers to her, and that she's this kind of leader and candidate that people will find approachable from so many different directions that they might be coming. Maybe they're an Indian American, maybe they're an immigrant family, maybe they're a woman, maybe they're someone who has been a leader in organizations. There's so many things about her that people will find accessible, that is just so profound. So this to me is a day of real celebration. And also for me, in a very personal level, I just know my ancestors, our ancestors, are cheering this moment. It is one of those moments in American history that is just, you feel it to a worn soul is feeling this moment of joy and happiness. And so I'm very grateful.
Do you have a sense of, I mean, how does one run a presidential campaign? How do you campaign? I mean, normally, there would be a big rally tomorrow. She would be out on the trail in some locations. The Vice President Biden would be out on locations. In other locations, you would be out there. Others would be out there. Do you have a sense of how this will work? I mean, if you talk about energizing people, if people are energized, normally they might volunteer to work on a campaign. Does that even happen now?
One of my team members said this to me, because I've had hundreds, probably, I don't think I'm exaggerating that number, of Zoom calls since this pandemic, in addition to fundraisers. I'm on the ballot in New Jersey, for example, and one of the ones that my staff loved the most was the one that Kamala and I did together, which was a Zoom campaign event. And it was funny, it was fun, it was, I think it was one of those folks where people felt connected, even though we were socially distanced by thousands of miles. Kamala is good. And this kind of campaigning, she will be excellent. And so I'm not worried. Donald Trump has the same challenges too. In fact, this is a guy that relies on, we saw in Oklahoma, rallies to the point where he was willing to put other lives at risk. He now has to deal with the same playing field that our ticket's going to have to do. And I will put the energy, the excitement, the enthusiasm, the ability to connect of Kamala Harris against Vice President Pence any day of the week, and I'll put my heart and spirit on Kamala, bet on her every day.
It's interesting because to see the president of the White House today sort of trying to figure out what's the line of attack on her. I mean, yes, the president said, she was mean to Judge Kavanaugh during the confirmation hearing. He said she was nasty, a word obviously he seems to use often for strong women or people who ask questions or challenge him. Do you think it's a smart choice in that sense of, for those who, he will say that Vice President Biden wants to defund police. It's hard to see Kamala Harris as somebody who has worked in the criminal justice system as a prosecutor and a district attorney in that position.
Well, I'm smiling because if there's anything I know, and Kamala's too humble to ever say this, but she has now joined the pantheon of great black women in history. And I know what they've tried to do to great black women in history. They've always tried to destroy them. Ella Baker, Harriet Tubman, I can go through them. And as one great black woman wrote so eloquently, and it applies to Donald Trump and Kamala Harris, you may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may trod me down in the very dirt, but still like dust, I rise. And this black woman, AKA Howard graduate, is used to men coming at her with the same viciousness, cruelty, and meanness. And she has risen every step of her career. And so she's not worried about Donald Trump. Donald Trump should be worried about Kamala Harris.
Senator Cory Booker, I appreciate your time tonight. Thank you.